Hello children. Today we will tell you the database. First, let's learn what is database. Later, a small activity in a database program do it. Data are unprocessed raw information. Database or data structure is maintained. All knowledge of our data in any way is called to save the structure that holds within in structure. Where is it used? Database program, hospital, schools, bank and our daily lives. The database is used almost every point. Now let's watch a video related to this issue.
In this tutorial, we're going to look at setting up a database in Access 2010 and creating a table. Now, as you probably already know, a table is the starting point for the creation of any database. And in this tutorial, I'm going to set up a database for a game shop. Now, when you open Access 2010, you'll be presented with a slightly different screen from 2003. Not much of a difference really. You can choose your database type here. If you want to use a web database, you choose this one. If you want a normal blank database, you choose this one. You've got some templates. For this purpose, I just need a blank database. So you choose blank database, and in here, give your database a name. This can be a game shop. So I type in game shop, and then click on create. And then Access goes off, does the relevant things, and presents you with this screen. Now, when you open a table, first of all, you can see that Access has created a table straight away for me. Now this is different from before when you had to create tables yourself. Now I've got two options here. I can either create a table from new by just right clicking and deleting this table, then go into create table and creating a brand new table, or I can modify the table that Access has already given to me, and that's what I'm going to do for now. So I go to right click on the table that's already created, and I go to design view here. Alternately, I could click on the table, go to home, and choose design view from here. But for now, I'm just going to right click and go to the design. It'll prompt you for a name for the table, and that's fine. This is going to be my stock table, so I type in T_stock and click on OK. And then Access opens the quite well known design view. But you can see here that Access has already created a field for me. Now I don't want this, I want to create my own ID. So I right click on this field after choosing it by clicking on this key here, right click and go to delete row. Access will have a little tantrum and say, this is the primary key, do you want to delete it? Yes, I do. I'm going to create my own now. Now as I said, this is going to hold game data. So the first thing I type in is game number. I want every game to have a unique number. And over in data type here, I can either choose number or I can be lazy and choose auto number. So I choose auto number. And that now will automatically number the games as I enter new game details. Now here I want this number to be unique, so I need to add a primary key here. I can do it several ways, well, two ways in fact. I can either click on primary key up here, or I can right click here and choose primary key as I've just done. Now once you've chosen the primary key, if you look down the bottom here, you'll see an indexed, it says no duplicates. This will ensure that you cannot enter the same data more than once. And now I can get on with the business of creating my table. So I type in game name. Now this data type is going to be text. I'm not going to bother changing it. And I'm going to leave the field size here at 255 because that's the size I want the field to be. I can't imagine a game being more than 255 characters in length, and that's what that actually means. It's the length in characters that this field will hold. Next, I go to developer, and that then will hold the developer of the game's name. I'm going to leave that again as text. Next, I go to price. Now the price this time, I want it to be a currency field. So I choose that. Now if you go to format here, you can choose different currencies for different countries. Obviously I'm in Britain, the UK, so I choose currency in pounds. Then I want layers of disk. So how many layers the disk has. And I don't want this to be normal text. I want this to be a lookup wizard. And this gives me options that I can choose from when I create the table. So I click on the drop down here. And I go at the bottom to lookup wizard. This will open a wizard which asks you to type in data and create your own list of data. Now you can either import the values from another table, or you can just type them in. I'm going to go to the bottom option and just type them in. Go to next, and here now I type in the number of layers: single layer, double layer, triple layer, quadruple layer, so quad layer. Go to next, and then go to finish. And that now, if you go to lookup here, you'll see it's gone back to text. But if you go to lookup, you can see this included my little typings in there. My next field will be year released. Now a lot of people here go straight to date time for year released. And if you go to general in format, you can see then it's actually looking for a date. Now I'm not wanting a date, I want a year. So I just go to number, and I'm going to leave it for now as long integer. I'm not going to bother changing that, because that will then hold a whole number, anything between 1 and I think it's a few billion. And finally, I want the genre of the game. And again, I'm going to use a lookup wizard for that to give myself some options. Again, I'm going to type in the values I want. I go to next. And here now I can type in FPS for first person shooter. I can type in adventure, puzzle, shooter, not a first person shooter, just a normal shooter, fighting game, and so on, so forth, role playing game, etc. Go to next and go to finish. And that's me pretty much set up my database, or my table in my database rather. Now I can either close this down here, it'll prompt me to save it, I'll just cancel there, or I can just change my view here to the datasheet view, and it'll also prompt me to save. So yes, I do want to save the table here. So choose your view, choose datasheet view, and go to yes. And this then will open the table up in datasheet view where you can start entering the data. So first of all, I'll type in Call of Duty, Black Ops, and then I've run out of room. So if that does happen, don't worry, just extend the field size by clicking between the two fields and dragging it. Developer, I put in developer, the price then, just type in a value, a numerical value, and you'll see it'll change it automatically to pounds or your own currency. Layers of the disk, you see I've got a nice little drop down here now. So this is going to be a double layered disk. Year of release, 2010. Genre, click on here, you can see the little drop down list has come again. And that's a first person shooter. And there we are. I've entered all the details of my game. You can see over here you've got a click to add. You can add an extra field over here. I wouldn't bother doing this. It can get really messy if you do that. So stick with what you've created in the main table. If you want to add any fields later on, go back to view and go back to design view. But that's it. That's pretty much how you create a table in Access 2010. You will have noticed one thing, that the list saying tables, queries, forms that did exist in Access 2003 is gone. If you click on all access objects up here, you can see there is a filter, and you can show all the objects that exist, or you can show queries, and at the moment no queries exist, tables, and obviously my table exists there, and all access objects. You can see only tables has come up here because only the tables exist so far. So don't worry, you can't see tables, you can't see queries. Once you start creating them, you will be able to see them. And to create things, just go to create, you can see you've got a query, you've got your form, you've got your reports, exactly as it was in Access 2003. So there we are. That's creating a table in Access 2010. And we're done.
Yes, now let's do a little activity in the database program. Friends and relatives of our name, last name, phone number and email address, we create a simple database containing information.
First, let's give our name table. Table name, friends. Now let's learn the characteristic of the table. Name, data type, text, 10 characters. Surname, data type, text, 10 characters. Name and surname have made the data type text. Phone number, data type text. Input mask, next, 000, next, first, next, finish. Phone number have made the data type text. However, we enter information into the input mask because we have written to the phone number input mask appear on screen as you want. Email have made the data type hyperlink. For example, first name Merve, surname Tekin, phone number 53312345112, email tekin@gmail.com. Second name Berivan, surname Orhan, phone number 53312361089, email orhan@gmail.com.
Yes, children. Today, what is the database? Where they are used database, they have learned how information is entered. Do you have any question about this? Let's have a finish.